Konnichiwa! I'm Alex with Lexico Moto Gymkhana, and welcome to the very final video in the Moto Gymkhana setup series. Thanks for sticking with me till the very last lesson. Now, in this lesson, we're going to be talking about how to choose a motorcycle for Moto Gymkhana. Now, there's a few reasons why I left this topic for the very end of the series. Number one, most of us don't have a bunch of money laying around so that we can go buy a brand new motorcycle or even a used one for Moto Gymkhana. Especially when we're first learning how to ride, we're going to learn on whatever motorcycle we already own, whatever we already have available to us. Now, the other reason why I left this topic for the very end of the series is because if you've been paying attention and have watched all the lessons so far up to now, you should already have a pretty good idea of what to look for in a Moto Gymkhana specific motorcycle. So let's say you are ready to buy a motorcycle for Moto Gymkhana. You already have a bike that you have picked out. Let's go ahead and do a quick recap of our lessons so far and see if we can draw out some questions that might help you answer the question of if this is the right bike or not for you. So first, we talked about tires and tire pressures. So first question is, what kind of tires are available for this motorcycle? After that, we talked about power. How does this motorcycle accelerate? How does it engine brake? Is it smooth engine braking? Does the motorcycle have an idle rate adjuster? And is that screw easy to access? After that, we talked about gearing changes. So is this a chain-driven motorcycle? If it's not, you're not going to be able to adjust the gearing. After that, we talked about further modifications that we can make to smooth out the power and the throttle. So are there things like throttle tamers available for this bike? What about power commanders, slip-on exhausts? Does the motorcycle have any features on it that could interfere with the power delivery? Does it have any extra little arms or levers that are going to interfere with the closing of the throttle? Does it have a secondary butterfly valve in the throttle? Both those things were on my KLX 300 Supermoto, and both of those things were removable. You have to know about those things before you buy the bike. Now, after that lesson, we talked about the brakes. So how do the brakes feel on this new motorcycle? Do they feel strong, and do they have good bite and feel? And does the motorcycle have ABS? Is it switchable ABS, or do you have to remove the ABS fuse? After that, we talked about the steering radius of the handlebars. If this motorcycle has a steering radius that is too great, can you adjust the steer stops? That's a good question. After that lesson, we talked about crash protection. So what kind of crash protection is available for this new motorcycle? Does SSB make something for this motorcycle? Are there lever guards and exhaust sliders available for this motorcycle? After that, we talked about the ergonomics and the body position that you're going to be in when you're seated on your new motorcycle. Does this motorcycle have clip-on bars, or does it have a handlebar? If it has a handlebar, that's going to make your life a lot easier. Can you adjust the seat? Can you mess with the foot pegs to get into a better body position? And then after that, we talked about suspension. So, what kind of suspension components does this motorcycle have? Does it have a basic suspension, more adjustable? Are there better components aftermarket-wise that you can buy for the suspension for this motorcycle? And what does the center of mass feel like on this motorcycle? Does it feel very top-heavy, or does it feel like the center of mass is a little bit lower and more balanced? Now, you're never going to find a perfect motorcycle for Moto Gymkhana, but all of these questions should be considered when choosing a motorcycle for Moto Gymkhana. There are some types of motorcycles that I am going to recommend over others. There are some category of bikes that I think are just naturally good for Moto Gymkhana. So the first type of motorcycle is going to be supermotos. Now, of course, I'm very biased. I just bought myself a supermoto, and I bought one of those bikes because they are just outstanding for Moto Gymkhana. They are very, very lightweight. Their handling is outstanding. They turn on a dime, and they deliver power in just the right way. They're very torquey. They have smooth engine braking, and they're just super fun to ride. If you've never ridden a supermoto, you're missing out. Now, the other type of motorcycle that I think is great for Moto Gymkhana are naked bikes. Naked bikes deliver very smooth power, smoother than supermotos. They usually have pretty decent torque. They handle well, good suspension, good brakes. And I think that they are outstanding because they have handlebars. They put you in a slightly more upright seating position. Now, the third type of motorcycle that I think are good for Moto Gymkhana are going to be sport bikes. They're going to have a lot of the same positive characteristics as naked bikes. The only downside to sport bikes is that they have clip-on style bars, which means that you're going to have to spend a little bit more money to do a handlebar conversion to get yourself in a better seating position for Moto Gymkhana. So that's the only downside. But supermotos, naked bikes, and sport bikes are all going to be outstanding options, especially the first two categories. Now, a few other things to take into consideration are going to be, number one, budget constraints. When you're going to buy a new motorcycle, you want to take into consideration that you're going to be spending about a third of the cost of the motorcycle, at least, in parts and modifications to get your motorcycle ready for Gymkhana. So don't spend all your money on the motorcycle. Leave some money left over for some modifications. Another thing to take into consideration is going to be transportation. If you're lucky, your Moto Gymkhana events and competitions are going to be close enough to you so that you can just ride your motorcycle to the events. If you've made very, very drastic changes to your gearing, or if your competitions are very far away, like they are for me, sometimes I have to drive 3 hours to and 3 hours back from the event. So you might have to trailer or truck your motorcycle to the event. So I had to buy a motorcycle that was small and light enough to fit into my truck so that I could transport the motorcycle to and from events. So transportation is another consideration. You also want to make sure that you test ride your motorcycle before you commit to buying one. So if it's a used bike you're looking into, see if the owner will let you do a test ride. If it's a new motorcycle, many dealerships won't let you do a test ride, so you might have to go onto the website of the manufacturer and see if they're doing a demo day in your area so that you can try out that motorcycle before you buy it. If you can't do any kind of test riding, at least go to a dealership and try sitting on the bike to see if you like the seating position. That's better than nothing. All right, I think that about covers it, riders. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comments section. It's been really fun being back to do more lessons. It's good to see you all again. And I hope you'll join me in a few months for my Level 3 Moto Gymkhana Technique series. I'm really looking forward to that, so I will see you all then. Until then, riders, take care of yourselves, safe riding, arigato, and peace.